Okay, hi, I'm Connor Webb, and I'm studying first-person representations of early modern monarchs. Everyone can recognize an autobiography now. However, they were much more rare in the 17th century, and when people did write them, they wrote them for specific purposes, such as a military memoir or a devotional or religious text, and they followed these forms quite closely. One person who composed an autobiographical text was Christina, the Queen of Sweden. She was born in 1626 and was the Queen of Sweden from 1632 to 1654, when she converted from Protestantism to Catholicism and abdicated at the age of 28. She wrote her memoir in 1681 at the age of 55. During her time, roles for women were quite constrained, and women were always needing to protect their reputations. This can be seen even in queens, such as Elizabeth I. She created the incredibly cohesive image of the Virgin Queen based on an idealized image of an older and unmarried woman, and this was one that she maintained for a significant period of time. As you can see from these images, this lasted from around the middle of her reign in her 40s until her death at the age of 69. Despite the significant period of time between the earliest and latest image here, there is a lot of similarity. In contrast, Christina represented herself in the ways she needed to, at the times she needed to, whether this was for political gain or personal gain, or for damage control for the results of previous imagery on her reputation. As you can see from these three images, the results of this could be extremely varied. Though there's only 4 years between these three images rather than the 20 for Elizabeth, there's very little similarity between each picture. Christina's disregard for expected roles for women was reflected in the way she chose to write her memoir as well. Instead of sticking to one form throughout her writing, as was standard, she used at least 3 different forms throughout the course of her memoir. She started with a religious text, moved on to a kind of family chronicle, and ended up in a political/military text. This despite never having served in the military herself. Not only lack of cohesion, but also oddity in her self-representations in comparison with others that is the focus of my thesis. It was often this disregard that caused the damage to her image that she was attempting to repair, mostly with her memoir, but sometimes with imagery later in her life. Each of the forms she chose to use in her memoir were to protect and reinforce her image in these areas at a time which had once been areas of strength for her, but where she had suffered representational damage later in life, partially due to rumors and misinformation, but also due to her own maverick approach to both life and representations of herself, thus causing her to utilize her own unconventional approach to things in order to repair damage by her unconventional approach to things.